Hey guys, welcome back to Deadman110 and welcome back to another video. And on the last video we did a review on SummerSlam 2022, and that obviously saw me talking about the iconic moment, and I can't believe I'm even saying that because it didn't happen that long ago. Or it didn't happen that long ago, but still, iconic moment with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, along with the other stuff that happened. But yeah, so we obviously talked about that. That ended up lasting a little over 2 hours. Sorry about that, but what can I say? That Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match was just unlike anything that I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, there was a lot to unravel in that video, especially in that one main event match alone. But on to the reason why we got this moment, ironically, and that's the fact that obviously over the past like 2 months or maybe 3 months or whatever, WWE has been a little bit all over the place, because obviously we had the Cody injury, the backstage stuff that was happening due to the Vince controversies that ultimately led him and basically pushed him to retirement, which is what you're about to see from Planet Productions in a few seconds. But yeah, so it ultimately pushed him to retirement, and since then Triple H has taken up the role of head of creative. So that is assumingly why we were able to see all those moments at SummerSlam and everything since that's followed it. Like the Karrion Kross return, like the Dexter Lumis return, or whatever his name is, or even blah 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 blah, or even some of the other stuff that's happened, you know. But this video is kind of going to encompass all of that, but not technically, but it is going to encompass straight away the reason why we are getting all these moments in such a short span of time as well. Because keep in mind that all of this has happened in the space of just over a week or something like that. So yeah, keeping in mind of all that, that's a lot of insanity to take in, especially if you're somebody like me that barely has a brain these days, or even has a sea of memory these days, because of recent events, but also because of the way I am nowadays. But yeah, so given that situation, yeah, so that's obviously what's gone on in recent WWE history, very, very recent WWE history. And here's the video that's kind of going to encompass that, and in that situation being, let's roll the footage.
This tweet right here is a significant moment in professional wrestling history. The Vince...
Well said, Plana. Well said. That is a significant moment in not only wrestling history, but I would say entertainment history as well. The fact that we saw Vince McMahon, after probably 50 years or whatever of being in charge of WWE, finally retire at the age of 77, despite all the scandal stuff, despite all the controversy. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. And obviously what's followed it has greatly benefited the company, obviously.
The McMahon era came to an end, and it was time for a change that would make WWE great again. Triple H is the new head of creative, and he's already changing.
Yeah, I personally trust Triple H with all my blah blah. I don't know why I'm getting so hung up on this, but oh god, I personally trust Triple H with all my heart that he will actually do some good for WWE and for the main roster shows and whatnot moving forward. I personally do trust him with all of my heart that he will really give it justice. And over the short little while, he's already begun doing that in more ways than one. And if you've been following WWE recently, and even wrestling, I suppose, then, or even my YouTube channel or my Discord or Twitch of mine, well, not so much my Twitch, because I haven't live streamed on there in a while, but if you followed anything of that curriculum, then you will know what it is that I'm talking about, and you'll already know what's good.
The game.
They're a massive pair of shoes to fill, and we're all going to grind and we're all going to make it do, because we have the greatest fans in the world, and we're going to make sure that they get everything they want out of this product and then some.
I trust Triple.
I firmly believe and trust what he says. Every word that he said in that goddamn interview, I trust with a blade. Literally. Like, I trust him in every way possible with everything that he said in that interview. And he is right. Like, as wrestling fans, even though we can be douches, even though we can be arseholes every once in a while, or even a-holes, like, we're still probably the greatest fans in the world of anything to do with entertainment. So, going off of all that, we can fully trust Triple H to give us, you know, good shows from here on out, for the most part. We can trust him with all of our heart.
Triple H is going to make WWE a better place, and here's why.
Razor's lifting up the ring with Roman Reigns in it!
That alone literally does it for me. You don't even have to show everything else in this video. You could literally just show this, and this would do it. Literally.
With a damn tractor! Reigns falls out of the entire ring!
SummerSlam was a blast. Brock Lesnar brought a goddamn tractor and destroyed the ring.
We talked about this on the last video as well. Oh my god. This was the greatest thing. Look at him. He's literally holding on for dear life with that hand on that rope. Literally for dear life.
Reigns went flying. Logan Paul put on a wrestling clinic, proving that he was born to be a wrestler.
Hell, he
Becky
did.
turned babyface, while Ronda turned heel.
Of course, that all happened. Of course, if you want to see everything that happened in full detail, then go and watch my SummerSlam review. I'll put a link to it. Sorry that it's so damn long, but it'll be worth watching anyhow. But point is, yes, Becky did turn face, even though now she's injured. Yes, Ronda did turn heel, even though now she's suspended. But point is, that's all happened at SummerSlam.
Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai all returned to the company, and just when you think it could not...
Yeah, Bayley returned, Io Shirai returned, or debuted or whatever, and Dakota Kai debuted/returned. And obviously they've been running you-know-what since then, quite vigorously. So, yeah. On that note, obviously, that's kind of the only thing that's really kind of made a difference long term, because everything else was kind of just for the moment. But all of it was still great either way. Like, for the moment or long term, it was still great.
Get any crazier, it does. The women's tag team division is alive once again, with the champions coming back. That is right, Hunter.
Apparently Hunter did actually convince Sasha and Naomi to come back, so yay! So, that'll be fun, whenever their return kick starts, obviously. And of course we saw the return of Karrion Kross, and he put a beating on Drew McIntyre in a big way. He put a big beating on Drew McIntyre, big time. Like, literally, big time. So, he's probably going to go against Roman Reigns, maybe, at the next pay-per-view after Clash of the Castle, maybe. And if that does happen, they're obviously going to have a banger. But obviously, I don't think I see Karrion being the guy to beat Reigns. If they're still wanting to do Rock and Reigns at WrestleMania, if Rocky still doesn't have any committed Hollywood plans for the start of next year. So, if all that is still going to, all that is still going to a head, then I would like to think that that would be happening. But if it isn't, then Karrion could be the guy to defeat Reigns, and I don't think people would have the biggest problem over that, because you're making a huge star out of Karrion Kross if you do that. So, and of course you saw his wife Scarlett Bordeaux with him as well, which thank God that those two are paired back up together. They should have never been split up in the first place. And of course, Scarlett, of course, signaled the maybe end of Roman's title reign coming the next few months. She basically signaled that with a vintage glass ticking time bomb thing. I don't know what the hell you call it, but point is, she did that. So there you go. So good on them, obviously, for making an impact, and good on Hunter for rehiring them both and putting them together again on WWE television.
Convinced Sasha Banks and Naomi to re-sign with WWE, something that I never thought would have happened, and Raw was actually good for the first time in so many years. Triple H made all of this happen.
Raw was actually quite decent. I know, and I even said this in my review. I know. I might be going a bit back crazy, but point is, Raw was actually decent, and Raw has kind of still been decent in my opinion. So, believe it or not, Raw is actually watchable, believe it or not. I never thought I would say this, but it is actually watchable again. There is a God, and he's apparently the kindest God in the universe, because, well, he had Triple H, you know, in his bag after Vince retired, and obviously had Triple H do what he's obviously done. So, I mean, fair play to Hunter, fair play to any lord that has made this happen. Like, fair play. Because that was, I doubt that would have been an easy thing. But then at the same time, considering of how mind-numbingly dumb Vince's decisions got at times, it probably was an easy fix. But I guess we'll never know for sure. But does it even matter? Does it even matter? What matters? Us finding out the reasons why that happened, or us finding out the reasons, well, not so much finding out the reasons, but knowing the reasons on why WWE was actually lit for the first time in years. Like, I think you know which answer that I'm gonna side with, guys. I'm not even gonna tell it, because it's blatantly obvious.
In just 7 days of being the head of creative, change is truly coming. No, in fact, it has arrived. The last week has been a glimpse of the creative mind of Triple H, and I think that WWE is going to become great again because of it. For anyone who followed the last decade of 100...
And furthermore, guys, keeping in mind that they're still going with the idea of turning PG-13, so once they do that, it's wraps. I'm going to have to say goodbye to all my brain cells, because they are not going to be able to cope in a big way, because with Hunter running things, with the company going back to PG-13 most likely at some point, it's wraps. It is wraps. Get ready, guys. Get freaking ready. I'm not even goddamn joking with yous. Get bloody ready. You know, like, get ready. This is gonna be, yeah, this is gonna be a wild, wild ride. And it ain't stopping anytime soon for anybody. For anybody.
His career,
much like time.
This isn't,
ironically,
anything new, but for anyone who hasn't, let me explain. But first, we gotta go back to the...
So, as much as this did start in 2003, apparently, I believe it really kicked into gear when he was running like NXT and all that, like the stuff he was doing on there. Even though I didn't watch it, I heard from a lot of people that that was the place to be if you just wanted to see great wrestling and all that jazz. That was the place to be. And I thoroughly believe that. And I wish I could have been able to see it all, you know, as a kid and all that. But all that aside, I heard about how amazing it was. And I mean as a kid, as in like when I was younger, so like, you know, like before I was 10 and all that. But point is, like, even though that's the case, I still heard from people that it was lit as hell. And I firmly believe that. And even looking back at it now, it's better than what NXT is today. At the minute. So, yeah, there you go.
The year of 2003, when Plana Productions was just a little boy. He was watching TV with his family and SmackDown was on. He was confused. What was the show? But he was curious at the same time. The first thing he sees is a guy pissing on another man's grave. It was quite...
yeah, that's one way to get introduced to pro wrestling.
The introduction to professional wrestling, but he was hooked ever since, and so he watched more and more of the SmackDown. People like Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker, and Kurt Angle would pop up on the screen, and there was even a man talking about how he would lie, cheat, and steal.
That being, of course, the legendary and late great Eddie Guerrero.
That man would become one of Plana's favorites. The characters were...
I'm not surprised. He's kind of one of my favorites. Like, when I look back at his matches and find out how kind of a soul he actually was, it really does inspire me to try and be the same. Well, maybe not the same, but to a certain extent the same. 'Cause unless you were there or you wasn't there, you heard about how brilliant of a human being Eddie was and is when you look back at his career in professional wrestling or even his life. So I'm not surprised that that was Plana's favourite, or one of his favourites. On part with the favourite that you are seeing on screen, John Cena.
So intriguing, and the wrestling was something he didn't see anywhere else. Little Plana absolutely fell in love with the WWE. Becoming so obsessed with the products, he was thrilled to find out about their other show, Monday Night Raw. The two main...
Yeah, I always heard like all the time how like back in the day, like back in the Ruthless Aggression era, Monday Night Raw and SmackDown were that you had to see. Like, it just was that insane. And I believe that. I mean, I've seen some of the stuff. I've done my research. I've done this and that. I've gone to the well. I get what people are saying because, well, we went from having necrophilia type stuff to friggin' romantic, what do you call it, love triangles going on storyline that was in real life, people peeing on other guys' graves, buried alive matches, infernal matches, casket matches, caskets being set on fire, oh god, people going onto the ring like Undertaker and ish, like, and even hepatitis playing a role in a feud, along with somebody literally nearly dying off of somebody ramming a lowrider with them at the back of it into the SmackDown stage. Like, literally, like, I could go on forever about all the wild they WWE pulled off in the Ruthless Aggression era. I could literally go on and on.
Brands weren't enough though. He would discover heat and even watch velocity. The librarian noticed him making multiple trips to rent VHS tapes of the Attitude Era. This is where he learned more about Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock.
Yeah.
He got detention for telling teachers to...
I mean, nowadays it's easier for people like, you know, my generation, or maybe others a little bit before me, or the next ones coming up, to watch this stuff, because they just watch it on the network for $9.99 or on Peacock, and they go and have fun, they live their life, it's whatever. But obviously for people Plana's age or older, yeah, that wouldn't have been easy for them, obviously.
Suck it, but it was worth it. Plana...
Yeah, I imagine, if only I had the nerve to do that as a kid if I grew up in that era. Oh my god.
Continued to grow along with WWE. John Cena became his favorite, while Edge wasn't. Then more years passed.
Yeah, everybody wanted to break their TV apparently back in the day whenever Edge was on screen, and I thoroughly believe that, and I've probably seen some stuff even from when I was young. I don't know, like, maybe nearer to the time, and I thoroughly believe that, like, everybody hated his guts for a good portion of his career until he turned face in 2010. Everybody hated his guts.
And newcomers like Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, CM Punk, and AJ Lee dominated the scene, holding it down. At this time, he was still enjoying the
That photo is probably the first part of my childhood, I would say, if I were to be honest, because obviously I started watching WWE, I don't know, like 10 or maybe like, I don't know, 12 years ago or whatever. And, yeah, those were the champions kind of at that time, somewhere around that time. And what's sad for me, at the age that I'm at, is only 2 of them right now are in the WWE. That is Kofi Kingston and, of course, Cody Rhodes. The others are either retired, left, or gone to AEW. That is how sad that is for little old me. Or big old me, or whatever. But either way, like, that's kind of sad. But hey, that's just the way it is. Like, generations will come and go, but the only thing that's consistent is them still, you know, holding it down and doing their thing. That being the WWE. Until we get to the Roman Reigns situation, which I have no doubt Lana will reference in this video.
products. However, things began to change in the mid-2010s.
See? As soon as he said mid-2010s, that's when this son of a face starts to appear. Roman freaking Reigns. Oh boy. Yeah. They could have done his push to the top way more better than they did. Thank God he's doing better now. Thank heavens for that.
WWE was becoming less fun as Vince McMahon was getting older and more out of touch.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
And that's exactly what...
You wonder why the Dark Knight movie has stood the test of time for over 10 years. You wonder. And it's because of quotes like that by Harvey freaking Dent that do it. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And Vince McMahon became that. And oh my freaking god. Yeah. He became that alright. And you wonder why one of my favourite movies of all time is The Dark Knight. Because it's just damn near perfect. Whether it's Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker, whether it's other actors' performances at their characters, like Batman with Christian Bale as the actor of Batman in that. Whether it's friggin' Morgan Freeman in the movie, whether it's, oh my god, that guy who played Scrooge in A Christmas Carol, I can't remember his name. Write it down in the comment section below for me to, well, know, because my mind is literally dead right now. But yeah, that guy who played Scrooge, that actor playing Alfred, or whether it's the untimely quotes like that one, like, that movie has stood the test of time, and that movie can literally be put onto anything, and this situation is one of those things that it can be put onto, as displayed by Ploner himself.
Happened with Vincent Kennedy McMahon. He had become the villain of WWE without even realizing it. Look, I'm gonna give him his flowers. McMahon changed the game in the 80s for this business.
You could argue that he changed the game in the 90s as well. Granted, I wasn't born in the 90s, but still, you could argue that. I mean, I definitely would, because look at the Attitude Era.
Legend manufacturer.
But that's besides the point. Obviously, he definitely did his thing in the 80s, in his prime, obviously.
The greatest wrestling company of all time, there is no doubt in my mind. I don't see anyone ever replicating the greatness that Vince McMahon created during the prime of his career. From the 80s...
Vince McMahon in the prime of his career was, to put it simply, a genius. He knew what he was doing, he hit his mark, he did his thing, he showed up and he showed out, and he was holding it down. Like, that is pretty much what he was doing.
All the way through the early 2010s, he turned Hulk Hogan into an American icon. He successfully pulled off the most important...
He made Hulk Hogan. He made Stone Cold. He made The Rock. He made John Cena. He did the greatest creation of a character in his company's history with The Undertaker. He made, like, Triple H. Like, all these iconic names and characters Vince made from the 80s to the early 2010s. Literally. And you're talking basically, dear Lord, you're probably looking at maybe 40 years of success under this man's belt in the business, but also in this company's history. So that's a very, very big deal.
Important sports entertainment pop culture crossover event with WrestleMania 1. The genius of The Undertaker was possibly his greatest concept come to life.
Not even possibly, and not even subjectively, objectively, he made the greatest character in professional wrestling, and that was The Undertaker. Especially as he got the right guy to do it in Mark Calaway.
The feud between himself and Stone Cold Steve Austin is some of the best writing in television history. Without him...
Hell yeah. Hell frickin' yeah. People were tuning into that literally like it was the greatest thing ever. And looking back at it in clips and all these other things, it was. It damn near was. And literally everybody and your mum was seeing wrestling at that point in time. Everyone. Didn't matter who the hell you were. Didn't matter what race you were. Didn't matter what gender you were. You were watching wrestling more than likely. Especially in the United States of America.
The Rock would not develop into the global superstar that he is today.
Without a doubt, like, The Rock literally everybody knows, like, and that's thanks to his insane amount of movies that he's been in. And, of course, being in Fortnite for a time. But either way, against all odds, those are the reasons, and that was all thanks to Vince McMahon. And the character of The Rock, back in the Attitude Era, after Stone Cold was pretty much injured and on his way out the door. So, based on that, yes, so Yeah, so Rocky couldn't have reached the heights that he did without Vincey Boy. Simple as that. And now he's in The Secret Life of Pet superhero movies, or whatever the movie's called, that I still want to watch, by the way. And he's in the new Black Adam movie that's coming out in October this year, at the time of filming this, that I really, really want to watch. So that speaks volumes, obviously.
Potential in John Cena before anyone else knew he was going to become the next big thing in Hollywood. And
exactly, like, he saw potential in John freaking Cena, and look where he's at today. He's literally a pop culture icon. Whether it's the You Can't See Me thing, the fact that he is in Fortnite now, whether it's his Hollywood career, whether it's the fact that he saved the WWE, in my opinion, after the Benoit tragedy, whether it's his recognisable face, or ticket sales, or thingy, what do you call it? Merch sales, that's it. Merch sales, like, the guy's a pop culture icon because of Vince McMahon.
he deserves all the credit in the world for keeping professional wrestling so relevant for so long. I don't think anyone else could have done the same thing. Vince McMahon is hands down the most meaningful person in this sports. We've got to respect what he's done.
Hell yeah.
With that being said, though, he was...
You clearly don't have to be a wrestler to be a meaningful person in sports, or even wrestling for that matter. But he not only did his thing business-wise, but he obviously did his thing ring-wise. In-ring-wise, should I say.
Slowly killing his empire. The product was deteriorating and change was required. And that's why everyone was celebrating his retirement. This was long overdue, and
hell yes. Like, as much as people may think, oh, you're hating on Vince, blah blah blah, so you're celebrating his retirement in hate. No, we're celebrating his retirement in thankfulness, but also the fact that we're glad for what he's done, but we are so glad that we're going to get change. That is basically how we're seeing it. And we're still seeing it to this day, obviously. Because a lot has happened since Vince's retirement that wouldn't happen with Vince in control.
Triple H taking over was inevitable. And you've got to love the promises that Hunter has been making.
I can promise everybody out there, I'm going to do everything I have in my power to make this better than they've ever seen before.
Oh, and he wasn't lying.
Yes. I firmly believe him. From the bottom of my heart, I firmly believe him. If this guy is going to be the reason why I lose brain cells towards the end of my childhood, I wouldn't have it any friggin' way. Simple as that. I wouldn't have it any bloody way. Simple as that. Because out of all the guys in the world, Hunter is the guy who can do that to you. Simple as that. And I am so excited to lose brain cells over what he does next. So excited.
Triple H is keeping that damn promise. He's been making this a better place. SummerSlam was just a little taste. Monday Night Raw was the true statement, letting us know that there's actually going to be a major change. Hunter took a dead title and made it feel just as important as the world.
Yeah, I like that. I like the fact that he did that. He should do it with the IC title as well. But I don't know whether I'll watch that video of that for the Great One, like the video that he made on that. I don't know whether I will. Probably not. But hey, at least I've mentioned it in this video. So you're kind of getting my 2 cents on it. And I think it's amazing. that he's done that.
Championships. The US title is no joke anymore, it's legit. For the first time in years, the mid-card has been rejuvenated. Young stars like Ciampa, Ali, and Chad Gable have the opportunity to shine brighter than ever before. Not only that, but the women's division had a complete overhaul. With the addition of Io Sky, Dakota Kai, and Bayley, it saw a massive improvement in just 24 hours.
Hell yeah, it did. We wasn't sure when the hell we would see Bayley again. And Io Shirai looked like she was 1 foot out the door, and Dakota Kai was already friggin' fired. Or friggin' fired. So, that just proves how big of a deal that moment was at SummerSlam when it happened. And I absolutely loved it. And it was great to watch it live.
And the reported rumors of Sasha Banks and Naomi returning make it that much more stacked. Triple H understands how to book women.
Like, you've got Naomi that has incredible talent that really, in my opinion, hasn't quite been seen yet, despite what she's done. And then you got Sasha Banks, who could literally bust into Hollywood again, in the case of The Mandalorian, and literally show up and show out anytime she wanted to, because she has that star power in the women's division that not many other women's wrestlers have. Like, you find her in The Mandalorian, you find her in Hot Ones, you find her in other forms of media, like, friggin' women's everywhere, almost. I mean, not to the extent that other wrestlers are, but hey, as God is my witness, she will get there. As God is my witness.
There's a difference from random tag team matches and logical storytelling. I'm hooked and I'm totally invested in that trio, and I can't wait to see this matchup. Speaking of logical storytelling, that's something we will see more from Triple H. For example, Edge and Becky Lynch.
Hell yeah. Like, Triple H not only knows how to book women, he knows how to book logical storytelling because he's been in the business for so long, so he knows the ins and outs of everything. So, you have a guy like that in control. God, you're going to be eating ice cream for the rest of your life. Because, well, you're not going to get enough of it. Simple as that. Simple as that. I couldn't put it any clearer than that. And by the way, ice cream was the metaphor for the fact that we ain't going to get enough of this once this starts snowballing big time. Like, this is the beginning of this. Imagine where we'll be come when this year ends. Imagine where we'll be in a year's time, or even 2 years' time, or down the road in the future. Like, anything's friggin' possible. Anything's friggin' possible with Triple H in charge. Literally anything.
Which explained how they knew they were being assholes and they wanted to become better people. A couple of sentences can make all the difference in the world. To make things even better,
that resonated with a lot of people. And me too. I can understand where they're coming from. And it definitely felt like that there was a bit of freedom in what they were saying, obviously. Which I think will lead us on to Plana's next point, I think. I don't know, but we shall see.
Talent were given more freedom with their promos.
Yes, I was right.
Confused, wondering why they didn't sound like robots.
Yes, I was right. God. Predictability is annoying at times, but when you know it's not, you damn well know it's not. Big time.
Because they sounded genuine and organic like real people.
Hell
That is
yeah.
going to go a long way. I haven't even touched on the wrestling yet. We got fresh matchups that were a lot better than your typical Monday Night Raw episodes. Rollins versus Montez Ford, Bianca Belair versus Io Sky, and Ciampa versus AJ Styles.
it felt like the newer generation was just... It felt like Triple H just wanted to show the newer generation of wrestlers, apart from Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. But you get my point. That's what it felt like.
All of them were bangers. What a sight to see. And the amount of time they got was unbelievable. We probably saw more wrestling on this episode of Monday Night Raw compared to all the episodes in the last year. Triple H is really bringing back the wrestling in World Wrestling Entertainment.
Yeah, you can definitely tell, like, the wrestling has been on another level. And it's only just going to get better from here, folks. Like, you give these wrestlers time to go. People like Ciampa, Montez, Angelo, Seth, AJ. List goes on and on, by the way. They will show out and show in. Like, they will pull up and do their thing, like, I guarantee it. And so far, I would like to think that I've been right. And I think I will stay right, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as Triple H is concerned. I think that will happen, where I will stay right.
Do you smell that? It's not what The Rock is cooking. No, it's the smell of fresh air. I'm not saying that Triple H is going to be perfect, but Hunter is willing to listen to the fans, and that's all you can ask.
Yeah, that is the best thing. Literally. Hunter is for the fans. You can tell. Even from this picture, he is for the fans. And obviously, when he had that issue back in September with his heart issues, people were genuinely concerned for him. Even I was as well, obviously. And when he came out at Mania and showed up at the Hall of Fame, people were genuinely... Try not to get emotional, guys, but people were genuinely happy to see him. Genuinely. And as was I. And that Motorhead head entrance that he obviously did, as always, at WrestleMania, brought so many nostalgic goosebumps for me at the time when watching it for the first time. So many. So that just speaks volumes. Hunter is for the fans. There's no doubt about it. He will listen to us, the fans, no matter how much of a-holes we may actually be at times. He will listen to us. I thoroughly believe that. And I hope you get what I'm saying, guys. Because this is as genuine as I have ever been in my entire life. Trust me. Trust me. And I can be quite a sarcastic sometimes. But here I'm being very, very genuine. Very, very genuine. And based on that, yeah, I couldn't say it any more clearer.
The Raw ratings is all the proof you need to see that it's working. Triple H used to play the game, but now he's changing it.
And that is the best way you could leave off that video. He played the game for like 20 odd years, and now he's changing the damn bugger in literally a fortnight. Not even that. So that speaks volumes. And that brings us to the end of this video. So if you guys enjoyed this video, then like, comment, subscribe, share the videos, favorite videos. Share the videos, favorite videos. If we could get up to 150 likes, if that's even the like goal that we're still at, then that will be greatly appreciated. Join my Twitch, join my Discord, subscribe, obviously, as I said before, if you obviously want to do any of those things, or if you have any of those things I mentioned, that being Twitch and what's it? Oh god. And Discord. If obviously you have any of those things, then follow me on both of those. Subscribe for obviously much more dope content. Although that won't be happening on a daily basis because I'm still recovering from my operation, but I still wanted to put this video out I still wanted to put this video out there like the SummerSlam review. So there you go. But point is, all I can say is Triple H is doing a masterful job at revitalizing WWE so far, and yeah, there you go. Like I said, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Twitch, Discord, and join the Discord server. It's all sorts of mayhem at times, and it's a lot of fun, and you can chat with me, some of my brothers, some of my school friends, and some of the people that I hang out with on Discord, like even Gorilla Press, who has his own damn company of wrestling. So yeah, join me on there and follow me on Twitch, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, comment, subscribe if you obviously haven't already, and yeah, ciao guys. Hope you obviously enjoyed this one, and see you in whatever the hell I do next. I truly don't know what the hell it's going to be, but I guess that's the joy of it, innit? But anyway, ciao guys.